Yo, what is up YouTube? In the garage again today, and today I'm going to be making some poly subframe bushings. So in the last few videos, I've been working on the subframe from the RX-8. Just finished up reinforcing it and creating my differential mount. So go check out that video if you haven't. So differential's all mounted up. This thing could go back into the car, but I already removed the old rubber bushings. You know, rubber bushings are comfortable and most OEM manufacturers use them. But for something like this, a drift car, I decided I wanted to make my own poly bushings. So Siki sells solid aluminum bushings. I think they're about $350. That's one of those things, like for this thing, I probably wouldn't have spent that money. I was gonna just leave the rubber ones in, but just a few weeks ago at work, one of my coworkers came up to me and asked if I was interested in a lathe. So I got the lathe, and that gave me the idea, hey, I could make my own bushings. And luckily, also at work, we had some scrap poly laying around that we used as bushings on something else, and we didn't have any use for them anymore. So they let me take some scraps home. I got some extra back there. So this stuff is like Delrin. It's really hard stuff, so it's like similar to like a 90A poly. So one thing I already did here a few days ago was get some measurements of the stock bushings. And what I did was actually just measure the height of the top section of the bushing, basically so that I know the distance that this subframe was sitting below the chassis. So I have those measurements, and then I had the overall length just because I didn't know what I needed. But now what I need to do is get measurements for the inner diameter of this, and then I'll make my bushings just slightly bigger than that so that I have to press them in. So just so I can lay out my thoughts clearly here, the top is gonna be something like this with a hole through it, and this will be the flange, and then I'll machine down the diameter that fits into that bore, and this hole will be going the whole way through, and then the bottom will just be a ring at a certain thickness, and then the sleeve will go the whole way through. And then for these front sections here, it'll just be this flipped upside down. So I just wanted to show my setup here. I bought a little cheap quick change post that I need to modify to make it work in here, but for now I'm using just this like lantern post that came on it. And I'm trying to work out the angles here, because you know what's sometimes happening with this stuff is it's just kind of cutting underneath it, which is fine. You know, I can just cut this off and then clean it up. But I'm getting a pretty good cut. I'm messing with my angles a little bit just to make it better. It's cutting pretty good though. It's pretty smooth. I actually don't mind these, you know, little tiny cut tool marks being in it and grooves, because I think it'll actually help hold grease better if I put grease in there. So just kind of experimenting. You know, it's not going to be perfect, but it's definitely cheaper than 350 bucks. So
So I got back to cutting again. I was playing with my angles and also my tool shapes just to get the smoothest cut, and also to kind of try to adjust my my chips that it was making. It was making these really long strings, and what would happen, at least from what I found, is whenever I'd use the automatic feed, because it was a nice even feed, it could basically do a continuous cut and just keep a really long string coming off of the piece. Where if I would actually go back and play with it manually, I wouldn't have a constant feed, and but then what would happen is it would leave behind some stringy material on the actual finished surface. And I think what was happening is it was actually too thin that it couldn't put the pressure on it to cut it. So it would just leave those behind and you couldn't clean it up. But anyways, I started using the constant feed, and I faced off the end, faced off the shoulders, and once I was done, I could move it off of the lathe over to the chop saw, cut it to length, and I left just enough material on it that I could face that off on the lathe.
all right guys, so here is the first bushing I made, and here is the second one. The surface came out a lot smoother just because I'm getting the hang of it. What's up, YouTube? It's been about a week since I worked on the bushings last, but I did get some work done off camera. So I wanted to give you guys an update before I started working today. So I have 4 out of the 6 total bushings done. And basically the reason for that is all of these were the same size, same overall length and diameter. So those I could basically get a measurement and get going on them. These are slightly bigger, so I had to get some more measurements for those. But let me just give you guys an update of where I'm at. The bushing you saw previously with the smaller diameter stepped up onto the bigger diameter. I actually pressed that in from the bottom, so that is going up. And then what I did here is I made a little thin ring, and then I also have a washer. And beneath the washer, I have my smaller diameter pressed in, and that is perfectly flush with the top of this race here. And how I did that, I actually just took a grinder and ground it down perfectly flush. And then I have a metal sleeve, and this one's a little loose. I'm not sure why, but this is down through the middle. So now the reason for the washer is purely just to distribute any load better over this piece, because this piece is so thin that I'm a little worried that I could run into problems. So I figured that that washer underneath there will just help distribute any load from this section here. That way this thin piece of plastic here has a lower chance of cracking. So that's the idea behind that. And then I have the same idea on these middle sections here. Flush at the top, washer, and thin ring. So that's a method for those.
So the fronts were a little bit different than the middles and the rears. Those I could grind off flush and set the top of my bushing right on top. These, because there's a flange on the top of the subframe, I actually had to sandwich that flange in between, and again I'm using a washer to help distribute the load from that flange. And then I just measured the overall height, 1 to make sure my studs were long enough, and 2 to measure for my sleeve, which you see here that I already had pressed into the other side, and then went ahead and tapped that in with a hammer. And again on this side using a washer in between to distribute the load from this flange here. And there's the final bushing.
On all these bushings, I will have a washer on the bottom for the nut to sit on. So I have a few of these stock washers. I'll probably use these where I can because they're nice and thick. And then I have a few of these, they're a little bit thinner, so I might just double them up and use these in the other areas. So bushings are done. I almost asked Nick to help me put this back in the car, and then I realized that I gotta paint everything. All right, YouTube, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hopefully, if you have a lathe, this inspired you. I'm hoping these bushings will work all right. I don't see why not. This was sort of an experiment, but you know, I think it should work fine. So this thing is about to be drift ready. I took them back out so that I could paint the subframe and get it all ready to go before I put it back in the car. But yeah, there's the bushings. So again, thanks for watching and have a good rest of your day.